And the battlefield is changing. It's changing faster than the rules can really come up for it. Machines are no longer just carrying weapons. They are increasingly helping decide where those weapons go. The UN and the Red Cross are warning that autonomous weapons could make life and death decisions with little or even no human control. America is building AI into its kill chain. Ukraine is turning the battlefield into an AI laboratory. And India is racing to close the gap as well. There's more in this next report. Take a look.
A drone spots a target. An algorithm identifies it. Another system tracks it. A weapon moves into position. The frightening question is no longer whether artificial intelligence can find a target. It is how much of the decision to kill can be handed over to a machine. That future is already arriving. The United Nations and the International Committee of the Red Cross are again calling for legally binding rules on lethal autonomous weapons.
These are weapons that, once activated, select and engage targets without further human interventions. Weapons of this kind already exist. But we are particularly concerned by the direction in which these technologies are moving. Weapons controlled by increasingly complex artificial intelligence, whose functioning may become harder for human operators to understand and anticipate.
Leading voices are calling for meaningful human control over decisions involving the use of force. America has already moved AI into the military decision chain. The Pentagon's Project Maven uses artificial intelligence to analyze huge volumes of imagery and help identify objects of military interest. It has used AI massively during its attacks on Iran. Newer battlefield software is pushing towards faster targeting by connecting intelligence, sensors, and weapons. China is also demonstrating the scale of the coming drone war. Chinese forces have showcased a single operator controlling and rapidly launching large numbers of drones, pointing towards swarm warfare where hundreds of machines can overwhelm conventional defenses. At World Humanoid Robot Games in Beijing, China's humanoid robots are stealing the show, but a quieter machine revolution is unfolding. Then there is Ukraine. The war has become a brutal testing ground for military AI. Ukrainian and Western companies are developing and using systems that can recognize targets, navigate drones, and process battlefield information at extraordinary speed.
Our systems indeed can characterize as autonomous. Obviously, there is a human in the loop, so missions are planned, targets are identified either at the ground or of course in the air when there is aerial threats coming for interception. So these targets are designated by humans, but the system thereafter is our systems are able to navigate fully autonomous with the help of the onboard AI solutions to engage on the target.
Britain and Ukraine have now signed an AI defense partnership aimed at developing and deploying battlefield technology. The advantage is simple. Machines can process information faster than humans. They can watch multiple feeds. They do not get tired, but they can also make mistakes at machine speed. And that brings the fight to India. The Indian Army has already displayed AI-based weapon systems, while Indian defense planners are working on autonomous surveillance, target recognition, drones, and battlefield decision support technologies. AI weapons remain one of the most sensitive areas of military technology. Software can help find, track, and reach a target faster than a human operator working alone, but the reliability, accountability, and rules around using AI in attacks need to be sorted out sooner rather than later. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
And to discuss this further with me, I'm now being joined by Lieutenant Colonel Daniel L. Davis, military expert and host of Daniel Davis Deep Dive on YouTube. Lieutenant Colonel Davis, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for joining me here on Defense Pulse. Let's start right off, sir. Ukraine, the Russia-Ukraine front, it's become a laboratory for drone warfare, and AI has really been, it has seen a major boost across these last 4+ years now. For America, what kind of lessons is US drawing in the AI domain from the ongoing war in Ukraine?
Well, if I'm just being honest with you, we're really slow to the game, and we're taking attention to some, but we seem to be too unwilling to let go of legacy capabilities and the way we've always done things. It's always worked. Why change it? But they want to tinker around the edges, and they want to add some experts to the side and say, yeah, well, let's add this to what we're doing, as opposed to, all right, what we've been doing is for the last century warfare. We need to get rid of it completely and go into a completely new one based on a comprehensive view of how the entire battlefield is working, the manned component, the unmanned, the ground, the air, all that, the AI, the missiles. Everything needs to be integrated together so that you can come up with a new way to fight, not just the component parts. AI is an indispensable part of that, but it's only one of many parts. And if you don't have a holistic view and a strategy of where you want to go to get there and how to incorporate all that, you may find yourself getting left behind.
Understood. But when we look at what comes next, AI, it's playing an increasing role in industries across the world. Of course, the military AI use is also going to be seeing more and more relevance going forward. How far are we from seeing AI entering the official kill chain? Can we ever envision a time, or do you envision a time, where human involvement can, in fact, even become non-existent in this kill chain command and AI decides it autonomously?
Yeah, I honestly, I think that's inevitable. I think that we're probably getting very close to that. I do. I actually first wrote about this a long time ago, almost 20 years ago, in 2007 in the Armed Forces Journal, when I was part of the Future Combat Systems, where we were already talking about autonomous systems, and we didn't use the term AI back then. It was technological development, but it was the same thing. Who makes the decision? Does the machines make it, or do man make it? And we talked about, or in the article, I talked about the moral imperatives to maintain control of it. In your segment you just showed a minute ago, some of the risk that machines can make mistakes sometimes, and at machine speed, that could go beyond what anybody wants to do. So it is absolutely vital to keep that away, at least as long as possible. But there's going to come a time to where people can calculate, that's a risk I'm willing to take, and they'll make things automated, and it's going to rapidly accelerate the ability to kill and the effectiveness to kill. But whether that achieves objectives is a separate question.
That raises a lot of questions, Lieutenant Colonel, because that can also escalate matters more than they could really let diplomacy play its way out if we allow that kill chain to be infiltrated by AI and let it do it autonomously. But if you had to identify the single most possible capability from AI that will change warfare most dramatically over the next decade or even the next 5 years, what would that be in your appreciation?
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't go as far as the next decade, because the changes are coming so rapidly, especially because of what's going on in Russia-Ukraine. There's significant resources all across the world, not just between Russia and Ukraine, to accelerate the process of doing that, of discovering the next technology and then iterating, et cetera. So I think it's going on very fast. But it looks like right now the biggest change is going to be in the drone warfare. Certainly the ballistic missiles are going to be an issue, but a lot of those fly so fast that there's not a lot of AI that's going to make a lot of difference once you punch the launch button. But the drones are a separate matter, and increasingly, and then right after the drones would be the ground robots that are armed, because once they are sent on their path, there's no more humans in the link, and they're going to move on, especially some of these coming out of China. I think with these swarm drones, That's what concerns me the most, because of the capacity of these things to swarm in on attack. There's a lot of people in the West already talking about, oh, we're going to have these lasers that are going to be able to knock out drones. You can knock out one drone with a laser. You got to find the next one. But if you have a swarm of them, unless you have a swarm of lasers also with extraordinary amounts of power necessary, that's not going to be a good effect. So I worry most about the drones, and second about ground armed robots.
And very quickly, let me also get your assessment. Should there be a hard red line where a machine can never be allowed to decide that a human being is a legitimate target?
I mean, you can argue there should be, and I did argue that there should be, but I mean, just the way technology's development and the way man has fought war for eons, they're going, as soon as they get to a chance where killing is easy, they're going to take it.
Lieutenant Colonel, this definitely requires. This is changing, and as you mentioned, we don't need to really look as far as 10 years from now. It's changing really rapidly. 5 years or even the next year is going to really be changing a lot of things on the active battlefield, because wars are continuing and the technology is evolving as fast. Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Davis, always a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks so much for joining in.
Thank you.